So, my life in a nutshell beyond SoundCloud. Okay. So, basically, you already know my story. Um, I basically, God took over at 10. I was basically the nigga that was playing video games. I was basically the nigga that was just kept to himself. You know, life happened. They already know the body with the high school. So basically, this led me to being a hip hop otaku with pride eventually. Okay. Also, I kind of stopped ducking since 2010, especially since the sandbox nigga uh, was doing what the fuck he was doing, and I said no. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna revisit the whole shit. Win, lose, draw, rise, fall, all that. I stopped ducking since 2010, and then I was couch hopping, right? Um, my psychosis getting worse, my fucking depression getting worse, voices getting worser and worser, you know? And then like the shit that I was dealing with at home when I was living with living with relatives or whatever the case is, you know what? At this point, like, okay, you know what? Um, I just had to pick up and go to the shelter for the second time. You know, I had to pick up and go to the shelter for the second time because I really couldn't help myself. So how can I help my grandmother at the time? How can I help my uncle at the time? How can I help my family at the time? Mind you, I'm over here banking it with cigarette money or whatever the case is. Before I hopped on the app, I was banking it with cigarette money. I dead fed my grandmother and my uncle with that. If it wasn't my welfare check. So one day I took it upon myself, minus all the politics and bullshit, to go back to the shelter for the second time. One thing led to another, a whole bunch of politics in between the shelter. And I always told myself, the fight is in the real world. The fight is in the workforce. The fight is in the corporation. The fight was never in the shelter. So of course, these cartoon characters from the shelter, you know, was seriously fucking with my existence over a fucking what is it? An outlet, if you will. Like this was prison. First of all, what's condensed makes sense. Second of all, that literally kept me from losing my mind again because ain't no fucking way on God's green earth I was gonna lose my fucking mind again to the shelter madness. I always told myself as I let the universe know that the fight is in the real world where niggas face scrutiny and pay bills. One thing led to another, you know. God came down and started talking to me back in 2020. You know, God told me the first thing, never go by the brain because the brain is so impolite that it tells all these devilish lies. One of the voices I can describe in my that was going on in my brain was the devil of the second childhood. A lot of things that I have said no to, the devil wanted me to say yes to, and I said no. I was what 33 in 2020. And even when I was a 23 in the shelter, even when I was 23 in the shelter, that's how the devil attacked me the first time with the second childhood. Mind you, I had to let the devil know who the fuck I was from the gate. Half of that shit before I even knew myself. And then God revealed more to me about myself as he revealed that he'd been taking over since 10. Yeah. So one thing led to another. The more time progressed, the more I stepped into my power, stepped into God's calling, over here fighting and protecting my community because ain't no fucking way I'm going to live the second childhood. I'd rather direct that gutter shit to the greater good. Okay? And that says a lot about hip hop more than it does me. That says a lot about these activists more than it does me. And guess what? Prayers do help. Prayers help, actions follow suit. However, one thing I would love to tell everybody is that prayers do help. Not everything is instantaneous. However, it is always on time. And all those times you thought you was getting impatient with God, you're not getting impatient with God. You are getting impatient with the devil as God directed your energy towards the devil. Always remember that. Thank you.